Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we have 4 games here on the slate for you guys, a couple of game videos up for you, and our player props as always. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page. In this one, we're taking a look at the Zards. They are home versus the Raptors, who we continue to root for, as we talked about them as a good bet to make the playoffs this season. Already lowered those odds, by the way. We took it at about 190, probably got it down to about plus 120, but still a good bet on the Raps. We'll talk about this one here in Washington. Also want you to head to thelines.com. You can check out all the great content we have up there for you guys, all NBA season long, all the way through to the end here, and use that odds finder tool we have for you guys. Make sure you're getting the best odds available there from all the U.S. sports books, giving you guys NBA bets this season. Nate, let's jump into this little 4-game slate and then talk about our games, Zards and Raps.
Yeah, the Raptors are -2 at Washington with a 222 total there. Phillies +4 in Dallas. It's a back-to-back for the Sixers, and they sat Embiid last night. We're not sure if it's rest or if he's, managing a foot injury that might keep him out again tonight. Halliburton is questionable with the Pacers -5 at the Spurs, 238 total. Would like the over in the Pacers if we know Hallie's going to play. And then the other game we break down, Clips -3.5 at Warriors, total of 232, which is the subject of some banter in our other episode today. Look, I do feel pretty good about the Raptors right now. Won 5 of 6 since integrating Pirtle, won 3 of 4 since getting OG back. And there's definitely some strong indications that their games are going to continue to go under. 4 straight unders with OG, allowing 104, just scoring 102. And last season, they went under in all 3 with Washington, allowing just 98 points per game. Their offense, not that impressive, with 106 points. Both teams hitting about 10 threes per game at a low clip, pace of just 92. You look at the numbers since Pirtle got integrated here. They're second in second chance points allowed, 8th in paint points allowed, 5th in free throw attempts allowed. So just not giving up anything on the interior. They are still 25th in opponents' three-point shooting. That's for the entire, in that span, and they have really poor field goal percentage over the entire season. But what they do is they limit the amount of field goals you get. They try to win the possession battle with turnovers, etc. And Washington's just not hitting from deep recently. I mean, they've come out of the break really cold, scoring 103 a game, shooting 33% from deep. Their 4th fewest free throw attempts. Where they are scoring is in the interior. 5th highest percentage of points off twos in that span. They just beat Atlanta because they had 71% of their points on 2-point field goals. They had 66 paint points. They only averaged 45 paint points at home this season. And like I just said, Toronto has a rim protector now. They're already pretty good on the perimeter in terms of forcing you into some bad spots, forcing turnovers. Washington, by the way, has a high turnover rate, allowing the 6th most points off turnovers in their last 6. And that's an extremely key stat against the Raptors. They're also 28th in defensive rebounding rate. But both these teams don't get to the line, really, and they limit free throws. Definitely another indication for an under. It seems like Washington needs extra rest to hit overs consistently. Like, they're 12-3 to the over when they get 2 days off. They're 20-11 to the under on the normal 1 day off, or 18-9 when they have equal rest. So, 222 is a little low for today's NBA, but I think the way the Raptors are playing right now, there's definitely a correlation between them winning and keeping it under. I think I lean slightly more towards just saying Raps to win because totals are a little volatile right now in this offense NBA. But I think Toronto's really rounding in form and pushing for that playoff spot, and Washington is kind of sliding out.
Yeah, I'm not ready to fade the Wizards entirely only because every time I do, then they win, and every time I think they're going to win, they lose. My 3 least favorite teams to bet on this season are the Raptors, the Wizards, and the Bulls, to be honest with you. The Heat are in there, but sometimes they become a little bit more predictable. With these 2 teams, what I love predicting is an under as well, to be honest. I do feel pretty good about that. I know it's low in today's NBA, as we say, but you look at what these 2 teams are doing as of late. You combine that with what they do when they play each other. You combine that with how good they are at stopping what the other team wants to do specifically. and how limited they both are in what they can do offensively. Their rosters are constructed in such a way that the Raptors really need to rely on scrappiness, fast break points, second chance points, steals, and points off turnovers and things of that nature, like we talk about, sort of the Memphis Grizzlies of the East, if you will, just without a Ja Morant, and that's really what Washington can also stop. They've been limiting fast break points. Washington's also been pretty good on defense as of late in the paint, and not that you really need it, limiting all the things that opponents' points off turnovers and second chance points. They're just limiting a lot of the stuff, and same for the Raptors. I mean, they're obviously in terms of opponent second chance points, they didn't used to be as good, and then they got Jakob Poeltl, and now they're a lot better at protecting the rim, at getting closing out the possession and getting the rebound. Incidentally, his rebound numbers have been pretty good. He's had a few weird games where he just doesn't board up, like that last one against the Bulls, but the Raptors still won the rebound margin there in a game that they won because Poeltl's boxing out and allowing other guys like Siakam and Scotty Barnes and company to get rebounds. So I love Poeltl being in there. I obviously sound a little bit salty because he disappointed me in our player props the other night, but he's been huge for them, and I've been happy to talk about him. So the fact that they're now getting rebounds, limiting what the other team does, since they've come back from the break, these two teams are playing at a couple of the slowest paces in the league, 93.5 for Washington, second slowest, and then the Raps at 25th, slowest, however you want to say it, fifth slowest. They're playing at a 96 speed. So, that pace is just really slow for today's NBA. I like that to continue. I know they haven't been playing very much. They've got a back-to-back here and then one more game the rest of the season against each other as well. So 3 remaining, and they haven't played since last January. But in their last 3, the totals have basically gone under 115 every single, or 215 every single time. With a couple really even uglier games, 102-90 the game before that. So I know Kuz actually wasn't in there for a couple of those, and he's been obviously wildly helpful and still keeping it hot in the second half of this season after the break. But I just don't believe in either of these teams' offenses, to be honest, right now. And I think that they both like to just keep it kind of gross and grind it out to a win. So rather, I do think Toronto is the team to bet on the rest of the way. So that seems to be what I'm saying for this game as well, that I would take them. But I don't feel that level of confidence in it enough, as nearly as much as I do to take under 222 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there is good reason for confidence in the under. I just think that Toronto was missing OG so much during that span where they were kind of inconsistent. It seemed to hurt Siakam's offense as well. He started to get hot right before OG came back. So now with those guys, firing with the extra rest after the break, Fred VanVleet started to play a little bit better too. I think this is a team that really benefits from that little reset, and now they're looking pretty good. I mean, again, for the under though, Washington posts a good offensive rating in the clutch, but they're also the second slowest team in the clutch. So if it does wind up being a close game, you're not getting the free throw line that consistently with either of these teams, not hitting threes, and you're not playing that fast down the stretch. So that does indicate, we're staying below 220, hopefully. But I think I like the Raptors. I'm trying to get ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell you necessarily not to, because it's not like I believe in the Zards, but just the Raps haven't been beating good teams. They haven't beaten a team with above 500 since like February 2nd. So that's a little bit concerning, obviously, as they have rattled off a bunch of wins, but they're against the Rockets, Spurs, Pistons, Magic, Pellies, Pistons, get smacked by the Cavs by 25 or 30, and then lose, beat the Bulls by 6 in a slobber knocker. So in these gross Eastern Conference middling team games, I do like to go under a bit more as well. So I think that's definitely my favorite bet for tonight, and that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along and check out the other couple videos we have for you tonight. And until we see you next, happy betting.